This is the WeltKrieg. We're playing the Eastern Front duration game, and this is the situation at the end of October 1914. We'll start with the front in Montenegro. The Austrians haven't really managed to push any further. They've basically not got the troops, and they certainly haven't got the ammunition to make any progress there. Trenches are already forming in this area, and it's really rugged, nasty terrain. It's not going to be the sort of terrain they're going to make any progress. We move a bit further up. The main fighting is it's still going around in this area of Serbia. Problem is the Austrians are pretty much shot. They've got virtually no supply left. They're moving a little bit of excess supply from down south to give them a little bit of a boost there, but some trenches are already in place in some areas, and they're coming together in others. The situation, if we go further up the Danube, it's pretty much static. The Serbians have crossed the river, and it's probably not a good idea to be where they are. It'll be better if they simply just move back across the Danube. I think we'll do that in the next turn. There's no benefit of being exposed there. Not that the Austrians have got much in the way of units to they've got a reasonable amount of troops, but just again they've got no ammunition to spare in the south. If we look at the situation in Galicia, the Russian 9th and 10th armies have mobilized here. In Poland, the Russian 10th army has effectively pushed the German units out of Lodz and moved the front line a lot closer to the existing Polish, Austro-Hungarian, German borders. So there is a little bit of a front here formed. It's very, very sparse, and there's no ammunition for anybody to do much in this area. In terms of the rest of Galicia, the Austrians are under a horrific amount of trouble, and their army is really, really suffering badly here now. The arrival of the Russian 9th Army here, which has pushed south, because there was a large area here it's virtually undefended, and it's very sparsely defended anyway, as the Austrians are stretched to form a front here. So they've made a breakthrough here, but the 9th has used up all its supply. There's obviously going to be some supply coming in at the start of the November month, but it's where it's going to be assigned. If we go further down the line, the Lemberg fell about a week ago, and the Austrian line pretty much collapsed. So they've fallen back to a more suitable defence line, but they're right on the edge of Chemsil, I think it's pronounced, which is quite a heavy fortified area. There's some really big forts there, and so that will be difficult nut to crack, as it was historically. Russians' big advantage is the sheer amount of reinforcements that have come in over the last month, and the fact they've been getting steady replacements, which the Austrians have had virtually no reinforcements, and a very small amount of replacements. Austria just hasn't got the troops to contain this front. Things carry on the way we're going, Austria-Hungary is going to end up falling back into the Carpathians, which admittedly is going to be a very tough nut to break for the Russians. If we look in Germany here, very little going on. A couple of units sort of along the front, keeping an eye on some of these Russian 10th Army units. If we go into Prussia itself, East Prussia, the Germans had to make a significant tactical withdrawal to a better defensive line, which has isolated quite a few of their fortifications, which are ticking away now. I think they've been isolated for 6 turns. Germans are the only people who've got any amount of supply left. They've been launching sporadic attacks up and down the line, sort of grinding at the Russians. The Russians are using their superior numbers to make attacks even without any supply, because there's just no supply available up north. Everything's been sent down to the army in Galicia. So all in all, things are moving, but as in World War One, they tend to move fairly slowly. There are options to bag units by surrounding them, but they don't come very often. You just have to make sure that you're keeping the eye on the fronts. Just watch these core tracks here and make sure your front line isn't ridiculously weak in any particular area where someone can have a go at it. Now, as we go into November, there's no significant changes coming in November. There's the ability for people to demolish their own forts and convert them to strand points. Everyone but the Russians, I think, can do that. Apart from that, I don't think there's anything specific coming in for November. I know Turkey joins the war, but the Turks, they weren't fighting anywhere in this area. The main fighting between the Turks and the Russians would be in the Caucasus front, which is not part of this East Front duration game. As I said, we're looking at the supply. Everybody's short of supply apart from the German 8th Army. Russians are really, really low on supply. Now, there will be supply coming in at the start of the month for everybody, but it's a trickle at the moment. Your main supply doesn't start flowing from the munitions factories until probably about January. We've got demoralisation. Let's see, we've got Russians on 180. Austrians on 129 and the Germans on 80. So both sides have given and taken a bit. One thing to remember is Serbia and Montenegro, they don't record demoralisation, so there's been a few units there. So it's pretty much give or take. Both sides have been attacking steadily, making progress here and there, and losing roughly the same amount of troops. I would say the Russians have lost more because they've been doing more attacking. And that's it for the summary at the end of October.